On the show today, we talk to Nadia Tarnawsky about chanting. Nadia is a professional singer, so just for fun, our symbol today is singing. And as always, we interpret the dreams you sent in during the week. Welcome to So You Think You're Awake, the show about dreams and their meanings. I'm Michael Sheridan, and with me in studio today is Susan Pullen, our resident healer and life coach.
Hello.
And Heidi isn't with us today because she is having labour pains. Poor Heidi. And we also have Nadia in studio. She's going to be with us for the hour, but we're going to interview her in the second segment after the ads. Hello, Nadia.
Hi.
I hope you're more talkative than that in your interview.
Oh, believe me, keeping me quiet's the hard part.
Oh, dear. Thanks to everyone who sent dreams to RadioShow at dream-analysis.com. Please continue to send them in, as we always need them for the show. You can jump the queue and call us on 425-373-5527, and we'll analyse your dream. We won't necessarily connect with your guides for advice, but we will offer advice on healing and life coaching. Now, at last weekend, Susan and Heidi had a class. I had a class too. In fact, we had a class, all three of us, covering, I did dream analysis, of course, and you and Heidi did a class that was a first time teaching people how to channel.
Yes.
And your element in it was removing blockages, doing your energy work to help people make sure they made the connection. Yep. And am I right in saying everybody in the class made the connection?
Everyone did, and it was a lovely group of people, and we had a great day together, yeah.
So that was good. So it was good for a few reasons. One, that everybody made the connection, because you never know how that's going to go. And because everybody did, and that's quite unique, we know that that's always going to be the case in Heidi's classes. I've been to many channeling classes where nobody managed to channel many, many years ago. So it is difficult to get the energy correct. But Heidi was saying that it was really useful having you clear anything that would be a resistance to each individual from channeling. So now you're a feature in the program.
Yes.
So it's going to be repeated on March 4th. For anybody who's interested, they can find the details on dream-analysis.com. Okay. So we're going, our symbol today is singing, and we picked it because Nadia is a professional singer. And singing in dreams, of course, is about channeling. So obviously there's a connection there. And it's about channeling because if you read any books about near-death experiences, people describe when they go through the spirit world that or the astral plane, that as they encounter other souls, they hear harmonious music that a lot of people will detail that they know it's the harmony between them and the other souls that they pass. So it's different for everybody that you encounter and everybody you go by. And so I wanted to ask, so that's what singing means in dreams. But I wanted to ask Nadia, why is it that singing uplifts people? Have you any ideas on that? Because it does. Everybody has their genre and has songs that they like. And they have a special song or a few songs that always lift their spirits up. Why do you think singing does that?
Well, it's a half scientific answer and a half spiritual answer. So for people like you who are kind of, in the middle there and like to have a scientific answer for spiritual things, this should be perfect for you. The scientific part of singing is that singing is vibration. In order for something to make sound, it has to move. And, the physics of it in terms of your voice is that you have these tiny vocal cords and they move, and then they make the rest of your body resonate. But the other thing that happens is that we as humans are sympathetic vibrators. So, and it happens when you're in a room, like you'll hit a certain note and all of a sudden the whole room vibrates with that note. It happens with people too. Like I'll sing in a concert and people will say, oh, I felt that right in my heart. It's because they were sympathetically vibrating where I was vibrating. So when you get a group of people singing together, it's quite magical because everybody kind of starts shaking in their vibrational sounds.
I love how you say that because I can actually hit notes that empty a room. I'm quite sure of it. I don't do it because I want to save people. But that's me. I'm kind.
I think that's a story you tell yourself. You could probably change that story if you wanted to.
And your singing is amazing.
Thank you very much.
So and of course you have gigs all the time. Have you anything coming up?
Actually, we just did our last one that's on the books. There's one that is still in discussions for March. So when that becomes settled, I'll let you know.
Okay, cool. And I have to say, you have an ad that we're going to be running for today in February.
Right.
And when I heard it, I thought, there's a word I can't say on the air. You're the background music in your own ad.
I am the background music in my own ad.
Yeah. People like you make me sick. In a good way. Yeah, I think singing lifts people up, music lifts people up because it connects you to the higher realms.
Oh, absolutely.
Whether you know it consciously or not, it just does.
Yeah, and there's a little bit of a hazard as a musician, because as a musician you work with other people, and when you start playing together and singing together, you start working kind of at a higher vibrational level, and people sometimes mistake that for romantic love. And so that's why when people in bands start getting together, it's a bit of a hazard, because it's like, is it really love, or are you just responding to that higher vibration?
Watch, they're going to snog.
And then later they figure out, oh, it really wasn't love. I kind of like making music with you. So you have to be careful.
I don't.
It's powerful.
Okay.
You didn't woo Sandy over with your serenading to her.
No, let's move on to dreams.
Okay. All right. So do you have a dream for us with singing in it?
Do I? No. Actually, when I had a dream many years ago, when I started getting into this field, and I was moving to Canada, and I was stopped at the border in Canada, and the official was just asking the regular questions, and you're going to get in. He's checking the passport. And he says, all we can offer you is a job in the music industry for $600,000. That was it. That was my dream. And I was like, hey,
I think I'll take that.
I'll take that job.
I woke up, of course, going, is he mad? I don't even work in that field. But, of course, music represents channeling, so it was encouraging me to channel and saying that'll get you on the Dharmic path. And it's really going to pay dividends because of the high salary I was being offered. But anyway, I still remember that. Well, I remember most of my dreams. I have a tremendous recall for dreams, but ask me a phone number or a name. Why is that? Right. You wanted
different levels of importance.
So what dream did you think I had here now that has music in it? Because you've said that as if it was a prompt.
Well, it is a dream show, and we were talking about the dream symbol of singing. I just thought it would make sense. We have a music video. We
you
could
could sing a song and we could critique it. That would get you back for that. Actually, no. I've threatened her with that one before, and she goes, "Okay, what do you want me to sing?" So I don't know. Some people have.
They're less inhibited.
That's the word. Thank you.
How about the music video dream? Are we ready for that?
Yeah, we'll do that one. So we have a dream called Music Video from Jackie.
In my dream, I was sitting in a coffee shop like Starbucks. They were selling single music videos on DVD. I bought one with a light blue and white cover because it had a video or song by Adam Levine.
Okay, so here we go. Jackie's trick is to dream of men, and they represent an aspect. So, of course, dream channeling requires both male and female aspects working in harmony. So the men in her dreams about channeling, and this is going to be about channeling because it's about a music video. And a single then is about it's better than a full DVD. So just a single. So it's saying that this is something she's meant to do. She's meant to channel for people. Now we already know that, and indeed she does. We must have Jackie on again soon.
Yeah.
Anyway, so knowing that, and the dream says blue and white cover, so it's asking her to lighten up with regard to channeling. And the rest of the dream gives us some clues, tells us what she doesn't like about channeling. So let's continue on. Unless you want to describe Adam Levine, I mean, gosh.
Okay, somehow I was able to watch it while I was at the coffee shop. It was like it was projecting onto a big screen hanging up on the wall. In the video, there were shots of Adam with his shirt off, and you could really see all of his tattoos.
Of course.
The ones on his back were very colorful. Then the video showed a young, dark-haired female singer whom I don't know, and she was wearing a black, strapless leather mini dress.
Okay, so let's stop there for a second. So we have Adam Levine, whom she's admiring, you can clearly tell, even as she writes the dream down. But the tattoos, we've had that before. Now, he does have a lot of tattoos. In fact, I like his singing too. But so I'm only joking. But the the fact that they're tattoos and so on give a nod to the fact that she should be writing, and it's something that she should do, and it's going to be very personal. But ignoring that, can I ignore it after I've already said it? No, I didn't ignore it. There you go. So she's meant to channel writing, but she's also, the big screen is saying that the projection it onto the big screen says that she has this ability. She can project, and she gets images. So that's how her channeling works. She gets images. And in fact, we know that's true too for her, because she sometimes gets images that she says, I don't know what this one means, and then she tells you what it means. Anyway, what have we got? Yes, so we have this woman. So here we have the woman. So the guy has his shirt off. So this is saying, look, there's nothing hidden here. You can see everything about me. There's nothing up my sleeve. I don't even have sleeves. You know, it's that sort of thing. That's like what a T-shirt would represent in a dream. And then we have a dark-haired female singer wearing a black leather mini dress. So this is going to be her saying, this is going to be about her fears with regard to doing this, even though she's an excellent channel. Okay.
She was singing and kind of dancing around when her dress slipped off of one side, revealing her breast. The camera didn't cut away, but I noticed that part of her breast was suddenly pixelated. She just kept singing, even though she was aware of the wardrobe malfunction.
So this is saying that your channeling is about nurturing people, because that's what breasts are about. Although you wouldn't know that if you looked at the fashion industry. I know there's all this malarkey, there's a word for you, about you can't breastfeed in public, but you can dress very alluringly, which is kind of nuts. Anyway, breasts are about nurturing, and so it's saying that she's going to use this ability to nurture other people through her readings and through her writing. And the fact that the woman in the dream is not fazed by the fact that the strap falls down is telling her that she shouldn't be fazed by what she gets when she's channeling. And in fact, we've censored this a little. I censored it. Susan was quite happy to read away, but I censored it a little bit of it. And it talked about part of her breast was being pixelated. And this is saying that she censors some of the information that she gets. And the sad part then is that she's censoring the information that is sent or is being told to her to nurture her clients. And I can understand that. That resonates with me. You get information sometimes that you don't really want to say, and you hold back. But really what you've got to consider is the fact that the person's guides are in tune with them. And even if it jars the person, they know it's going to jar them, and they know it's going to cause them to think or cause them to do something. And that's the effect that they want. So the dream is saying, don't do that. So let's finish it off.
She was belting it out and really giving it her all. Then her entire dress fell, leaving her completely exposed, but she still kept singing. I was looking around the coffee shop to see if anyone else was as stunned as I was about the nudity in the video, but no one else seemed to notice. Okay,
so the no one else seeming to notice is telling her to take no notice of it. You know, that it's people aren't fazed, they weren't bothered, and neither should you be. So whatever you get is what you should pass on. I know I'm in for a lesson on this one now. But so nudity in a dream is actually very good, and it's about not being afraid to be yourself. So clothes in dreams represent attitude. So how somebody's dressed in a dream is about their attitude towards the subject matter. So to be naked in a dream is just to not adopt an attitude. It's like, this is me. This is me as I am, without dressing up anything to do with the subject matter. That's a perfect way of putting it. So if we covered everything in that, I think we have. Yeah.
So this dream goes, I dreamt of the moon with the face of Jesus, and on the other side, the face of a black man. I'm still confused. Can you please help me?
Yeah, and this is one thing that happens on Facebook. People send a sentence and say, interpret that. Sometimes you can't. But this one is quite an easy one. So this is about, we all have like a Jekyll and Hyde, a light and a dark side, and we all have that. So on the light side of the moon is Jesus. So we know this is a religious person. And even if you're not religious, you know what Jesus stands for: compassion, turning the other cheek, all the things that, like, if you read the Bible from the beginning, when it gets to him, he says, don't do any of that stuff that was before, that was really like eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. It's all about love. And so that's what he symbolizes. But when you turn it around to the other side And we have fears represented by the black, and it's also the dark side of the moon, because there's always one side faces us. So what have I written here? We're here to grow our awareness and dispel darkness. You're a spiritual teacher and a psychic. Why? You're a spiritual teacher because that's what Jesus was. And the moon is the part that tells us that you're a psychic. The moon in dreams represents a psychic ability, an ability to shine a light in the dark. And through these gifts, you will help others and in turn learn enough about yourself to bring light to the aspects of your psyche that need it. So we all have this dark side. We all have a subconscious part. And while we help others, while we're here to help other people or to fulfill our life purpose, sometimes it's helping other people. Sometimes it's focusing on ourselves and, not with such a public profile. But whatever it is, we're here to help grow our awareness as well as help other people. And that just reminds me now, there was something else in the other dream. The Starbucks, the coffee, it's all about sharing, because we go to Starbucks. It's a public place, so it's saying this is something that you're meant to do. You're meant to channel in public for other people. And we know she does that. So I'm looking at the time, and we're going to take a break, and we will be back with you in a moment. You're listening to So You Think You're Awake.
Have you ever heard the advice to follow your heart, but you aren't sure how to actually do that? I'm Susan Pullen with True Radiance Healing Arts. Your heart is like an inner compass, pointing you in the direction your soul wants you to take. Join me for the art and practice of following your heart, a weekend workshop on how to tune into the guidance of your heart. February 20th and 21st. Find out more at true-radiance.com.
Hello, this is Heidi. How can I help you?
You tell me. You're the psychic.
That's not how it works. I am a medium. I connect to your spirit guides and loved ones and pass on their messages to you.
So why did I call? Use the force, Heidi.
Look, I can get answers to any questions you ask. That's not a problem. They can be about anything: relationships, career, children, finances, anything.
Anything? Okay. What's my favorite color?
Dave, your mom says you're being childish.
For readings with Heidi, go to angelsontheline.com. Okay, listen up. This is important. Do you know your life purpose? Are you psychic? Do your dreams predict your future? Are you one of the X-Men? Your dreams give the answer to 3 of these questions. Find out which 3 by attending Michael Sheridan's Dream Workshop in Seattle on March 5th and 6th. Register at dream-analysis.com.
Have you considered adding a chanting component to your spiritual practice, but you're not quite sure what to sing? Or when you start singing, sometimes your throat starts hurting? I would love to help. Please join me, Nadia Tarnawsky, for an open chanting class that will begin on Thursday, February 11th at 7:30 p.m. Classes will meet every other Thursday. Please come whenever you feel called. Go to www.sacredcompassion.com for more information. All are welcome.
Ahead of the talk radio curve, naturally. Alternative Talk 1150.
Welcome back to So You Think You're Awake with Michael Sheridan and Susan Pullen. And our guest today is Nadia Tarnawsky. And we just heard her ad. And you know what I didn't like about that ad, Nadia?
What?
The talent.
Well,
how long did that take you to put together?
You don't want to know.
I do. Because I'll sleep better.
20 minutes.
Oh, no, I didn't. Yeah. Oh, that's why it had flaws. Yeah. Okay. So we're going to talk about your chanting class. Sure. And I might do it because I've always wanted to sing in with the opening sequences of The Lion King. So would I be able to do that after taking your class?
I would hope so. If that's your goal, then yes. I mean, you have to. It depends on what your goal is when you go in.
Yeah. So,
my goal for anybody in that class is to be able to do it in a healthy way, and a lot of that has to do with my past and the road that I've traveled. If you break a violin, you can always get a new one. If you ruin your vocal cords, you don't get to go to the store and buy a new pair. So it's really important to do it from a healthy place.
All right. Well, Susan has loaded the machine gun of questions on this one. So she said she'd be gentle.
I'm ready.
No,
Go for
okay.
it.
So you're a singer and a shamanic practitioner.
Yes.
And so how did you come to that work?
Well, I've been singing all of my life. My parents have like cassette tape recordings of me when I was 3 or 4 years old, just singing away. But as I mentioned, at some point in high school, I started taking voice lessons, and I thought I wanted to be an opera singer, and I went to conservatory and sang a lot. And somewhere within that process, all of a sudden, the singing wasn't quite what it was supposed to be, and so we went to a speech pathologist, and they took videos of your vocal cords, which is not a comfortable process. And they discovered that there were nodules that were developing. So I actually had to stop singing for about 6 to 8 months and went to speech therapy and did a whole bunch of other things and learned a lot about the physical way that the voice works. I also took a phenomenal class about it's called Voice for the Actor. So it was how actors could speak in a healthy way and be loud without hurting themselves. And I use all of those components. And part of that, when you're a shamanic practitioner, there's this idea of being the wounded healer. You have to go through a wounding process of your own in order to be able to go through that, heal through that, and then be able to help other people. And so looking back on it now as a shamanic practitioner, I can look at it and go, oh, that was my wounded healer moment. Wasn't that wonderful? But, when you're in the middle of it and you're told you can't sing for the next 6 months, that was a painful process and It was not particularly fun.
I can imagine.
So when you talked about not hurting yourself in chanting, I was thinking I could reach maybe such a transcendental state I fall off the chair.
No,
Not.
I mean physically hurting yourself vocally. And, it's hard for me sometimes to listen to pop singers because you can hear the kind of damage that they're doing. And so I'll listen to that and I'll say, oh, they've got about 5 or 6 more years doing it that way. And then they won't be able to do it anymore just because you can hear what's going on in there. And it's hard.
And Nadia, can you give our listeners just a short definition of what is a shamanic practitioner?
Absolutely. So in indigenous and traditional cultures, a shaman would be somebody who would be chosen by the community. And it was somebody who could talk to spirits, spirits of animals, spirits of the earth, spirits from the astral plane, angels, archangels, whatever you want to call them. And there would be a whole apprenticeship process. And again, somebody does not call themselves a shaman. The community calls them the shaman. And then in our urban environments, we don't necessarily have that kind of system anymore. So people do things like take workshops and study with other people. And calling yourself a shaman in kind of an urban environment seems a little just not honest. And so the shamanic community came up with the term shamanic practitioner, which is somebody who has those same similar abilities but doesn't necessarily come up in the way that an indigenous practitioner would do it.
Can I just say that was exactly 30 seconds? And this relates to our pre-show talk. I was right. I'm putting a tick on the chalkboard here. Continue on.
So, Nadia, how have those things come together for you, the singing and your shamanic practice?
Yeah, that actually, I came to singing from a very kind of physical, scientific perspective. It's like, here's what you do, and here's the things that happen physically, and here's the things that happen, in terms of physics, like in terms of vibration and things like that. And it wasn't until I was teaching a session in New York, and there was this Polish woman that I was working with, and I'm a very hands-on kind of singing teacher, so there's a lot of, grabbing onto people and kind of shaking things up to help move things around and move blockages. And at one point, I had my hands on her, and I was shaking and moving some stuff around, and she said, I had this heaviness in my lungs, and it just completely disappeared. And she looked at me and she said, "You're a shaman." And I was like, "Oh, no, I'm not." I'm like, "Oh, no, you don't get to call me that." But she was persistent. And, and then she gave me gifts, like she gave me a resonating singing bowl and some other things that were used in shamanic work. And she just kind of kept doing that. She was the persistent guide in my life. And at one point, I talked to another friend of mine who was a shamanic practitioner. And I said, I've had this dream, this is before I met Michael, and I don't quite understand. And he goes, "There's this gift that you're avoiding. Do you have any idea what that could be?" And I thought, well, yes.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, I do know what that is. And so then I started working with other people and learning some things, most of which, a lot of times when people first start in this kind of work, they get very tired because they don't have they don't have boundaries set up for themselves. So it's really easy to take on the junk of other people. and not be able to clear it out yourself. So it's really important when you're doing this kind of work to have that kind of system in place, which is something that I learned a lot of. It was very helpful. So, but in terms of singing and shamanic practitioner, a lot of it is about removing fear, because that's, aside from speaking in public, if you ask somebody to sing in public who doesn't normally do that, they would not.
Yeah.
That's not something people generally jump up to do.
Yeah. And so how do you support people like in the chanting class, or you do one-on-one work with people as well? So how do you support people to get beyond that?
Well, initially, and a lot of this voice work is not about making specific sounds or specific pitches. We're not going to be singing, a lot of scales and things like that. It's more about, it's kind of like taking baby steps. If you think about how a baby learns language, when they first start, they're just making sounds. It's not really words. And then all of a sudden they start making words. And then all of a sudden they start putting the words into some kind of order and some kind of syntax. It's the same thing. You start with an awareness of your body, and then just making sounds with your body without having a specific pitch or anything to hit to. And once you get people kind of at building that muscle and just actually being able to make noise first before you actually have to put words around it or put notes around it, put rhythms around it, becomes much easier. And the other thing is about not being judgmental, which is super, super hard, and usually we judge ourselves worse. Like, we'll make a sound and go, that wasn't pretty, or that wasn't strong, or that wasn't whatever. And I kind of feel like that's self-cursing in a way, which is why I'm talking to you, Michael, about the stories.
Why are you
you
looking
tell
at me when
yourself?
you're saying judgmental? Everybody knows I'm not judgmental.
Well, we're judgmental to ourselves, especially with singing. Singing is so personal. If you play the clarinet, you don't like how it sounds, you change the reed, you get, the pads oiled, get
You're
it
right,
adjusted.
it's the instrument, it's nothing to do with
right, exactly. But when you're singing, you can't, you can drink tea, and there are certain things that you can do to kind of oil your mechanism, quote unquote, but you don't get to change it out. You have what you have. And so that's hard for people sometimes.
I have to say, I'm being very good here. There are loads of points. There are loads of points I could have jumped in, and I've refrained. So, and just in case you think I haven't,
well, I'll buy you an ice cream when we're done.
Great. Okay, so if you're doing chanting and you're doing sounds, are there like plateaus? Like you compared it to a baby learning to speak,
right?
And a baby learns, sounds, and then they put words together, and then they discover that plateau word, which is no, and they stick with that one for ages before they string anything else along, because no is just so fantastic.
Right. But
or mine. Right. Mine is another one.
But that's true in anything that we do. Like, we'll start learning something and we'll have this, this incline up, and then we'll kind of reach a certain level and we'll stay at that level for a while. And that's where
But you feel good at that level, presumably, with the
Well,
chanting.
you do.
Yeah.
You do. And then you either meet people who are at a higher level and they encourage you to go up, or you're just comfortable where you are and you stay there, which is why, some people are amateur singers and they're happy there. Yeah. And there are other people who want to do it at a higher level, and so they have to keep working until they get up.
But is the chanting about becoming a singer ultimately, or is it about achieving another state through chanting?
It's about achieving another state through chanting, and it's about vocal health, because, if you're vocally healthy when you sing and when you chant, you'll also be vocally healthy when you speak. So if you're in a kind of job where you're talking a lot and at the end of the day you have no voice left, this would also be helpful for you.
So somebody like Nick Nolte would need to be with that.
Yeah, probably.
Don't think there's any vocal cords left.
Well, it's part of the reason I don't do blues music. I love blues music, but there's that rasp quality to it. And if you listen to people who are blues singers they talk like they sing, and they're very raspy when they talk, because that's kind of what's happened to their vocal cords.
So I'm going to have to tell people I don't sing because I'm saving my voice instead of saving their ears. Sorry, Susan, you had questions?
So since this is a dream show, we asked Nadia for a dream.
Yeah.
Shall I?
I send them all the time. Go for it.
Yeah.
All right. This is called My Husband Will Help You. I'm in my therapist's office. We've just finished a session, and I'm writing her a check. I usually write the check before my session and have it ready, but this is not the case this time, and I feel a little rushed. As I write the check, I hope that she takes a couple of days before cashing it, as payday is a few days away, and I have almost enough money in my account to cover the check, but not the full amount. I hand her the check, and she says, "My husband will help you. He's waiting for you in the hallway." I exit her office, and her husband is there.
And what's interesting there, I'm stopping the flow here, but you say in the comments that she's a lesbian, so she doesn't have a husband.
No.
So the check, and banks are to do about the heart, and the check when you don't have the funds to write the check, of course you shouldn't write the check. So it's about balance. It's about paying attention to balance and balance in the heart chakra. And that's what this whole dream's about.
He takes me home, but it's not my current home. It's my parents' home. We go into the house, and there's no one there, but the TV is on. I pick up the remote and turn the TV off.
Never! You don't do that. That would be like shredding your vocal cords. All right, it isn't.
Do you want to say more about the TV?
Yes, you never turn the TV off in a dream. So I said it's about staying balanced, and it's about male and female side. You're a channel. You didn't tell people you're also a channel. And that requires male and female energy. So what stands out here is we have a husband and wife who aren't typically a husband and wife. So it points out the desired connection desired intimate connection with your male side. So this is really what it's about. And of course, you've got to work on your heart chakra to get that balance. But the TV then is, so it says you get images. When you channel, you get images. And you're nodding.
I do, yes.
Okay, so turning the TV off is switching off your channeling ability, which of course, it's okay, you've done it, but you shouldn't do it in a dream because you'll have more dreams where you don't do it. So yeah, that's it.
At that moment, a Native American man walks into the house. He's wearing traditional clothing and also has on a wolf skin. The wolf's head is on his head, and the rest of the fur hangs down over him like a cape. The wolf's fur is gray. "We need your help," he says to me. I nod to my therapist's husband, and we leave with the Native American man.
Okay, so what do Native American men appear to you? Oh, by the way, I had written down that you get 3 demerits for turning off the TV.
I'll have to re-enter the dream
be aware
and fix
of that. Native Americans, are they about balance between spirituality and the earth, or what would you say?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, for me, yes, for sure.
Okay, so
And
it's another symbol for balance for you.
there's also a teaching aspect for them, for me as well.
Yes. And it's interesting, anytime a dream is about the heart, we always see the head coming up, and you talk about this Native American man putting the wolf skin on his head.
Is wolf about teaching for you too?
Oh, goodness. Wolf is one of my power animals and one of my guides. And so they often appear. They're more about a group scenario because they travel in packs.
When
There's a smile across the way from Michael. I'm not sure what that. I feel like there's something else supposed to be coming from there right now.
I'm just thinking she didn't ask the questions I said. But go ahead.
When we exit the house, we're not on the street, but high up on a mountain pasture. There's a large herd of horses there. Some are black with white markings on their foreheads and chests. Some are brown with the same white markings, and some are white with brown spots.
So you see the forehead and chests again. Mm-hmm. So just interesting. It's almost in every single dream that's about the heart.
I climb onto a brown horse with a black mane, no saddle, and the horses begin to run. There's no destination, but they're running quickly in the pasture for fun. I take this time to look at the other mountains in the mountain range and feel the wind rushing past me.
Okay, so riding a horse without a saddle is definitely about balance. But a single horse in a dream is about balance. You know, a herd of horses, which you have in your dreams periodically, is about healing. So you're a healer, also a hands-on healer. And the pasture then is, so having the herd of horses in the pasture. So if the herds of horses symbolize healing, having them in the pasture, which is green, is healing for your heart. So it's you using your own healing ability in your dream to heal and balance your heart. And that's, in fact, why all our spiritual gifts show up in our dreams, because they're healing something about us. And so really the clue here says fun helps you stay balanced. So it's not bad in the end, because you're having fun on the horse. So you don't have enough fun.
I agree with you.
So could you write her out a prescription for fun there?
I will. Right after you can come for ice cream with us.
Oh, super.
So it's a good dream. It's a really good dream. You know, almost all of us fail in this way, that we don't keep our heart balanced because of the society we grow up in. You know, academics is pushed. We've said it so many times on the show. Academics is pushed. You're never asked how you feel about a particular play. It's always about comprehension and retaining knowledge about conversation and so on. It's all academic, which is sad because the other things can be measured. I mean, psychologists measure it all the time, so it could easily be introduced into the school curriculum. It just isn't there at all. But yeah, so nice dream. Did I miss anything in it? Any questions since you're here in person? Any questions about anything in the dream?
No, it's funny. I'd forgotten that dream. But, like, I remembered the beginning of it, and then we got to the herd of horses, and I was like, oh, yeah, that's right. That happened. Mm-hmm.
So
Interesting.
I sent you 4 questions to add to your list, and I didn't hear them. And one of them was, do your neighbours speak to you, Nadia?
They do, actually.
And is it to tell you to be quieter?
No. I've lived in my current apartment building for it'll be 4 years in June, and I'll walk through the courtyard and I'll get a neighbor from across the way that says, hey, I heard some great music coming out of your apartment. Was that you? I was like, yes, that was me. Oh, that was great.
They're only asking so they know who to say it to the cops. It's her in apartment 4.
No, but nobody's ever come knocking at my door and said, hey, shut up, keep it down in there. And so
yeah, I'm kidding, of course.
Because you have a lovely voice. That's
Thank
why.
you. It may not be their style of music, though, so I could see people knocking on the door and saying, hey, I'm not sure what you're doing in there, but you need to stop. But they haven't. They've been very kind.
So what are the big benefits you would get from doing chanting? I mean, there's quite often there's incidental benefits. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're singing, you're working on what you're doing and the small exercises. I presume you give exercises.
Yes, absolutely.
But I would imagine that there are benefits that are going to come to the person who's participating that you're not directly saying.
Well, yes, definitely. It's interesting because I do this with all of my clients, whether or not they know it. I always start with kind of like a meditation and a prayer before I ever meet with them, just to ask for guidance. And usually the guidance that I ask for is to be able to see what I need to see, hear what I need to hear, and feel what I need to feel. And that often happens like when somebody's singing and I'll listen to them singing and I'll say, have you broken your right arm? And they said, yeah, how did you know? It's like, well, because you can hear it in the voice. Or my favorite one was I was working with a woman and I said, there's a lot of tightness in your chest. Do you have some kind of issue there? And she said, no. And then a couple minutes later, she said, well, I did have open heart surgery last year. And I thought, well, yeah, there it is. So like what happens when you start singing is that those vibrations start opening things up. And so you can start opening up your chakras and kind of realigning them with sound and kind of doing like a sound healing, which is, again, something that I hadn't noticed. I was doing the exercises that I had learned in college, and a friend of mine came to me and said, you realize you're activating all of your chakras by doing that. I was like, oh, really? I had no idea. So singing really helps do that and kind of cleans them out in a bit. So that's one of the benefits that you have.
And I presume it's fun. People enjoy the class.
I've always had fun.
Well, you have an affliction.
But it's my way of getting to the spiritual path. It's not everybody's way. Your way is dream interpretation. Her way is
in the chanting class. Though, are people going to have fun? Like they're not going to feel like it was a chore, are they?
Oh no! If they feel like it's a chore, then why be? Again, it's the herd of horses. We're having fun. You have to do it in a fun way, or it's not. Then why would you do it? Especially if you're afraid of it. If you're afraid of singing and you go and you don't have any fun, you're not going to stay.
But I presume people who are afraid of it don't go. Do you ever have anybody that...
Oh, everyone that goes is going to be afraid
Everyone
of it.
who goes is afraid of singing.
Yeah.
All right.
For sure.
And there are still, I've been singing all of my life. There's still times where I'm in certain situations where I get on stage and I'm going, okay, you got to help me through this one.
I wish they hadn't got Pavarotti on just before me.
Right. So
I'll
still
give it a
get
go,
scared.
though.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. And how long is the class? How long does it?
It should take about an hour and 15 minutes, not too much, in order to be able to get through all the physical exercises and then get through a chanting cycle. It should take about that much time.
And when does it start?
It will start on Thursday, February 11th at 7:30 at night.
Okay.
Which is in a couple weeks.
And you don't need to give an address. People can just...
They can look it up
on the
They can look it up on the website. One of the reasons it's taken so long for this to happen was I was looking for a space, and I was finally the door opened, and I'm using Betsy Bergstrom's space, which is in South Lake Union. It's on Westlake Avenue North. So
okay,
but the address is on. I think it's 1836.
And you want to give your website address?
Yes. My website address is sacredcompassion.com. So SACREDCOMPASSION.com. And there's a workshop link. Just click on there and all, like what to wear is there, where it is, what time, how much it costs, all those things are
what to
there.
Wear?
Yeah.
I know nothing about
don't
singing.
wear your girdle.
Yes,
basically.
exactly.
How did you know I
Don't-
have one?
Don't wear a black leather mini dress.
Yeah, right.
I don't have one of them. All right. Well, thanks for that.
Absolutely.
We're going to take another break now. Back with you in a moment. Okay, listen up. This is important. Do you know your life purpose? Are you psychic? Do your dreams predict your future? Are you one of the X-Men? Your dreams give the answer to 3 of these questions. Find out which 3 by attending Michael Sheridan's Dream Workshop in Seattle on March 5th and 6th. Register at dream-analysis.com.
How clear is your vision for your life? Are you living on purpose, bringing your dreams to reality? I can help you to hear the quiet voice of your heart, guiding you in the right direction. I'm Susan Pullen with True Radiance Healing Arts. Let's talk about how you can create the life you want and be the person you were born to be. Contact me today at true-radiance.com.
Hello, this is Heidi. How can I help you?
You tell me. You're the psychic.
That's not how it works. I am a medium. I connect to your spirit guides and loved ones and pass on their messages to you.
So why did I call? Use the force, Heidi.
Look, I can get answers to any questions you ask. That's not a problem. They can be about anything: relationships, career, children, finances, anything.
Anything? Okay. What's my favorite color?
Dave, your mom says you're being childish.
For readings with Heidi, go to angelsontheline.com.
Write it down, shout it loud. Alternative Talk 1150 AM. Now, wasn't that fun?
Welcome back to So You Think You're Awake with Michael Sheridan and Susan Pullen. Where our show is about dreams and their meanings. And we're going to have a look at some more dreams you sent in during the week.
Okay, this one says, Hi, I'm 27 years old and I completed senior high school in 2008. For the last 5 years, I always dream that I'm in a classroom with my former classmates. I simply don't understand why I should be in a classroom always. Please tell me what it means.
Okay, so normally when you're in high school in a dream, a school is normally about learning about yourself. I mean, it is in reality. And in a dream, it's normally about learning about yourself too. And other clues will tell us what it is you've got to learn about yourself. So we quite often see dreams where people are doing exams in high school. So that's very positive. That's a very positive dream. And it's saying that you need to, let go. You're ready now to move into a new stage of being. You've achieved one part of your life purpose and you're ready to move on into something else. Just like when you do high school and your life completely changes. But here, there's no reference to that. So it's about learning about yourself still, but it's really bringing her back to that age in her life. And so whatever it is, whatever the age is in the dream, 16, 17, the dream wants you to go back there and there's something you've got to deal with from that age in your life. And that's all the dream is doing, is it's using that as to give you the timeline. So say, for instance, what's strong about that time in your life might be a relationship and it was one that went well or one that went bad. I mean, it doesn't matter which way it went. If it went well, the dream is saying, okay, we want you to have more of that in your life now, be more open, be more intimate, be more whatever it happens to be. If it's a relationship that went badly, then it's saying, look, you need to leave that in the past and don't let that affect how you are now. I'm not saying it's about relationships, but we don't have the clue from the dream. You didn't give us any information there, but it's going to be along those lines. Whatever comes up for you at that age in your life. So moving on.
Okay, I was making water flow through plastic tubes and accumulate in a big can. I was doing this with my wife.
Okay, this is about restricting the flow of your spirituality. And because your wife is in the dream, it's in your relationship. So it's affecting your relationship. And the analogy is that water should be used to spur growth. But here it's been accumulated in a can. And that's also a pun on canning or eliminating that part of your life. So it's not, dreams come to us to tell us what we need to change in our lives. So they can always seem like a bit of a slap in the face. But really, it's like, what do I need to change? And they pinpoint exactly what it is you need to do. So when it comes to your relationship, don't restrict things. Let let both you and your partner be who you need to be. For instance, don't let a very strong religious upbringing dictate the way you need to be in that relationship.
So I have another one. Let's see. Hello, Michael. 2015 and 2016 has been a real challenge regarding my health. 2 surgeries, and I had a dream this morning about being in the presence of a full orchestra. I'm assuming it's telling me to strengthen my connection with the spirit realm. This is only a portion of the dream, but I was curious why my dreams have been hiding from me to prevent these challenges.
Yeah. Okay, so your question is, why are my dreams not giving me the full picture? Well, here they're saying you are getting the full picture because you have the full orchestra. So everything is there. There's nothing left out. If you had a dream where you said something was missing, there was some instrument missing or somebody didn't show up, but it's saying everything is there. So it's really positive. So if your first question is, why am I not getting this? The dream is saying, yes, you are. You're getting everything. And maybe in fact, this lady's going to be doing the next dream class, the next online class, which starts on February 7th. So you're going to find from those dreams that it covers absolutely everything. That's something I never say I do at an online class. I'm actually in the process of changing it, and it's going to be a series of videos of many, many videos. But right now it's an in-person one. But this will be the last time it's going to be this, where I'm standing in front of a camera and describing what the dreamer's dreams are about and how to interpret dreams. But your dream is saying, look, you are getting the full thing, and we expect then to see it. So it's a reassurance dream. It's really a reassurance dream saying, look, you're not being neglected, even though it's not telling you exactly what's going on. But you do say that's only a bit of the dream. So I can only give you a bit of the analysis.
So this one is called Best Mechanic of the Year. I was part of a crew that was remodeling and cleaning a concert hall. We were only half done, but the show had started early. I was sitting in the audience, and a woman came up to me and said, "You're going on early."
Okay, so this is you want to laugh right at the start of this one. Remodeling and cleaning a concert hall, brilliant. This is about channeling and using your gift in public. And it's like, oh, excellent. And then when you see we're only half done, here comes trouble. Because the dreamer doesn't feel ready. That's what it is. And it's going to be over and over again, you would expect when you see that sort of symbol saying, no, it's time, or it's close. So it's just kind of funny.
So she goes on, I wasn't ready. My hair wasn't done and I wasn't dressed. Okay,
so the dressed attitude isn't correct. I don't feel like I've got the right attitude towards it. Or I'm, whatever, it's even more subtle than that. It's, I don't feel like I'm ready to be presented and marched out on stage. My hair wasn't done. It's like I still need to see how I think about this and all this sort of stuff. So she has a million reasons, but she's not going to get away with any of them, of course. They don't stop the world rotating because you're not ready. It's quite often you are ready when you have these feelings of I'm not ready, and that's when you need the push.
But I knew that I just needed to be myself and I might pull it off. I went on stage, which was 2 levels and almost too narrow to stand on. Okay,
so that's her restriction, feeling that it's too narrow. But the 2 levels, of course, is about the channeling, which we already know.
My notes were on waxy paper and had smudged off. I got the general impression of what the paper had said and then announced the best mechanic of the year. It was between 2 groups. 3 men came up on stage, ecstatic to have won. I hoped I had read right and announced the right winner. I explained to one of them in his ear, I'm sorry about how I presented this, but I'm not from here, and so I don't have a natural understanding of the environment for improving things. He didn't care and wasn't really listening.
Oh, no. So he's not caring and not really listening. That's you, I'm afraid. But so you need a boost. So when we have men showing up in the dream like this, it's about giving you a boost, giving you the confidence, the support, because that's what male energy represents. So it's all about your male energy. But we have the 2 groups as well, of course, and 3 is commitment. 2 is about the channeling and saying you're going to work with groups of people. We already know this from other dreams that you've given us before. But you really are saying, okay, yeah, I get all that, I accept all that, but I don't know where I'm going to stand, what I'm going to do, what I'm going to talk about. And that's okay. But right now it's to accept that you are a channel and you are going to use it in public. And 3, like I said, is to do a commitment and feeling supported when using this in public. And the supported is feeling supported from your guides. And like on the dream, they're ecstatic to be in this position. And you're the one saying, oh, no, I'm not ready. So what you need to do is a bit more of what they have. And this feeling of this is great. I've gotten to this position. And that's it, yeah. Congratulations, I've written here. Congratulations, you've healed yourself, which you have. It's a very healing dream because you do it all. So despite all your fears, despite all the other things that come up, you still bite the bullet and you get out there and you do it. And even though you don't feel like you're given exactly the right things to say because the notes had worn off the paper, you still get through it. And that's brilliant. It's a healing dream as well. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so this one is called Headless. I've had 2 very similar dreams, one last year and one very recently, about people who were involved in fatal car accidents. They were beheaded, and while we thought they were dead, they opened their eyes. Okay,
so this dream is a car accident is about a karmic event or, something that's going to happen in your life or has happened in your life that was traumatic in a way, and it doesn't have to be major trauma. It could be like losing your job and finding another one, or it could be it's in dreams they show up as death or fear of death, but it's never going to be that. But it is going to be something that when you look back in life, you go, okay, well, this was the event. You can't mistake it happening, and the fatal. So death in dreams is usually about a major change within yourself. So the fatal car accident is saying you're going to be different after this. But it's always different in a good way. And they were beheaded, which sounds horrible. And this is saying, okay, this is saying that, it's something where you could say you're losing your head over this or I've lost your head over this. So it's going to be about coming down out of your head and into your heart and going with your feelings. So whatever it is, it's going to cause you to have feelings. So a lot of the times people have things happen to them in their lives because that's the only way they do step down out of their heads. And so you can avoid these sort of things by including your heart and including your feelings in your life and in things that go on for you, because that's a lot of the reason that we're here in the first place is to learn to open our hearts and move our consciousness down. Literally, it is moving it down from our crown chakra down to our heart chakra and going with the feelings, going with the joy, letting positive things, positive emotions help put you in alignment with where you're meant to be on the planet. You are meant to feel happy. You are meant to feel joyful. But we only get these feelings when we listen to our heart. And if something feels like it's something we shouldn't be doing, and I don't mean like the last dreamer where she knows she's a channel and feels afraid to do it. This is much different. Like, even though she feels afraid, you know that it's something she wants to do. You know it's something she would be delighted to do. So I'm saying when you have those feelings, you move in that direction and life is going to open up in lovely ways for you. Okay. So, yeah, go ahead. We're looking at the time and we're trying to pick dreams that we know will fit in.
Yeah. So here's a short one called Not Fifth Avenue. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. Not Fifth Avenue. I'm in a large open building. People have sections of the building that are their home, but there are no walls or anything in between. You can just tell because the flooring and decor changes. My uncle takes a hose and starts spraying water all over something and all over the floor. My stepdad is nearby sitting on the couch. We tell him to stop because the flooring might become waterlogged and warp, which is a concern with laminate floor in waking life.
Okay, so the dreamer says it's a concern with their flooring in waking life, which is about issues with the colon. So that's all this dream is about. That there's, the large open building is good, but the dreamer knows she has issues with her elimination system. So it's really just pointing it out. But she needs to open up. So you look at this uncle. What are the issues with the uncle? What comes to mind when you think of him? It could be positive, could be negative. And if it's negative, you need to drop whatever that negative thing is when you think about that person from your own personality. And if it's positive, you need to adopt it. And then the stepdad sitting on the couch, that's a more positive position because he's relaxing. And we know that stress is one of the things that causes us problems here. I'm looking at the time getting real fast. What I wanted to get to in the stream is I go upstairs, there's a basket with sweaters. I pull out a brand new sweater, really, really good, that is peach and light pink, and I'm going to take it to wear. So this is saying you need to add counselling to your skill set. You have a counselling ability, and I'm looking at the time now, and we're completely out of time. So I want to say thank you to our producer and engineer, Eric Ryder. Thank you to Nadia Tarnawsky, and good luck with your chanting class.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thanks to Susan. And remember, you can send your dreams to radioshow@dream-analysis.com. Until next week, we leave you with this. Never be defined by your past. It was a life lesson, not a life sentence. Thank you.